Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Efrida Mihfada from number 8. Today I'm going to talk about marketing service. The first topic is understanding of service. What is service? Based on Payne opinion, states that services as an economic activity have a number of intangible elements. There are values and benefits associated with them, which involve a number of interactions with consumers or with other goods, and do not result in changes in ownership under condition that can arise in the production of a service. According to Kotler and Keller, services is any action or performance offered by one party to another party which is principle doesn't materialize and doesn't cause transfer of ownership. The production of services can be tied or not tied to a physical product. Valerie Azaitam and Mary Jo Bittner also say that services as all economic activities whose results are not physical or construction, which are generally produced and consumed simultaneously and provide added value. According to Christopher Lovelock and Lauren K. Wright, services are an action or a performance offered by one party to another. So we get the point from the understanding according to the expert above, it can be concluded that in services, there is always an aspect of interaction between the consumer and the producer or servicer. Services are not goods, but rather an intangible process or activity.
Services are offerings by a firm that are in the form of deeds, processes, and performance. A service is an activity or benefit that is extended by one party to another. It is intrinsically intangible in nature and it does not result in any transfer of ownership. Did you know, in the United States, the service sector contributes to more than 65% of the total GDP. Examples of service sector include healthcare, banking, airlines, logistics, education, tourism, insurance, telecom, and information technology. Now let's look at the difference between physical goods and services. Goods are a thing where services are an activity or process. Goods are tangible, whereas services are intangible. Goods are homogeneous, where services are heterogeneous. In goods, production and distribution are separate from consumption. In services, production, distribution, consumption occur simultaneously. The core value is produced in the factory in case of goods. In case of services, the core value is produced when service providers and customers interact. Goods can be stored, services cannot be stored. In goods, transfer of ownership is possible. In services, there is no transfer of ownership. And finally, no participation of customers required in the production process of goods. Whereas in the case of services, it involves the participation of customers in the production process.
And what about service marketing? Some definition of service marketing according to expert. Based on Lopioadi, service marketing is an action offered by one party to another party which is principally intangible and doesn't cause any transfer of ownership. William J. Stanton said, service marketing is something that can be identified separately, not materialized, offered to meet the needs. Services can be generated by using tangible or intangible objects. And from Mary Jo Bittner, service marketing is an economic activity whose output, not product, is consumed at the same time as production time and provide as added value such as entertainment, enjoyment, and leisure, which is intangible. From the definition above, it can be concluded that service marketing is an action offered by producer to consumers in the sense that the service provided cannot be seen, tasted, heard, or touched before consumption. And the second topic is services characteristic. According to Lovelock and Gommenson, there are 4 characteristics. The first one is intangibility. Services are intangible. The services cannot be seen, tasted, smelled, heard, or touched before they are purchased and consumed. And the second is heterogeneity. Services are heterogeneous because they are non-standardized outputs, meaning that there are many variations in shape, quality, and type, depending on who, when, and where the service is produced. The third is inseparability. Services are inseparable, meaning that services are sold first, then produced and consumed at the same time and place. And the last one is perishability. Services are commodities that are not durable, cannot be stored for future reuse, resale, or return. And another opinion is from Griffins. He said that marketing service has three characteristics. The first one is intangibility. Services cannot be seen, taste, touch, heard, or smelled before the service is purchased. And the second one is unstorability, or cannot be stored. Services do not recognize the inventory or storage of products that have been produced. And the last one is customization. Services are often specially designed to meet customer needs. And we get the point. So, based on some of the opinions of the expert above, it can be concluded that the main characteristic of the services cannot be seen, taste, touch, heard, or smelled before the service is purchased. Then, services also cannot be stored, and services have many variations in terms of quality and type, depending on who the service is sold to. This is due to the different needs of service consumers, so that the services sold are adjusted to the demands of the consumers. And the last topic is services classification. The first one is market segment. Based on market segment, services can be divided into services to end consumer, or for example, life insurance and education, and services to organization, for example, accounting, tax services, management consulting services, and legal consulting services. The second is level of being. This criterion relates to the level of involvement of physical products with consumers. Based on this criteria, services can be divided into three types. There are rent goods service. This type of consumer only rents and uses certain products based on certain rates and for a certain period of time. For example, rent car, VCD, hotels, villa, apartment, and another. The second is owned goods service. Goods owned by consumers are repaired, developed, or upgraded and maintained by service companies. This type also concerns change in the form of goods owned by consumers. For example, repair service, computer, car wash, maintenance, laundry, and the others. And the third is non-good service. This service is a personal intangible service offered to customers. For example, drivers, household, babysitter, lecturers, tutors, and others. The third is service provider skills. Based on the skill level, the service consists of professional services, for example, management consultant, tax consultant, legal consultant, doctors, nurse, architects, and others, who have selective consumers and non-professional services such as taxi drivers and security. The fourth is service organization purpose. And the fifth is regulation. From this aspect, services can be divided into regulated services, for example, as a brokerage, public transport and repairs, and non-regulated service. The sixth is employee intensity level. Based on the level of employee intensity or labor involvement, services can be developed into two types. There are equipment-based service, such as automatic car wash, ATM, and laundry. And the last is people-based service, or such as football coach, security guard, accountant services, management consultant, and law consultant. And the seventh is service provider and customers contact levels. Based on this level of contact, services can generally be divided into high contact services such as universities, bank, doctor, and pawn shops, and low contract services such as cinemas. Thank you, that's all from me. I'm sorry for all that mistakes state that I did. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.